The Greyhound bus hissed to a stop on the cracked shoulder of Highway 17, just outside the forgotten town of Milford, Georgia. Dust swirled in the early morning light as the doors folded open. A single passenger stepped down, slowly, carefully. 74-year-old Vera Harlan carried only a thin canvas tote and the weight of 38 years behind bars. She stood motionless as the bus pulled away, its taillights fading into the pale dawn like dying embers. No one waited for her. No family. No friends. Just the empty road and the skeleton of a gas station across the way. Henderson Fuel. Or what was left of it. The pumps leaned like drunks against the wind. Windows shattered. Roof caved in places. The sign, once bright red and proud, now read only HEN, N-Fu, L, letters peeled and rusted. Weeds choked the concrete islands. A faded, open sign hung crooked behind broken glass, mocking the silence. Vera's knees trembled, not from cold, but from the sudden, crushing realization. This was all she had left. The place where she'd once laughed with customers, counted change with steady hands, raised her daughter behind the counter on slow afternoons. The place she'd lost when the jury said guilty. Manslaughter. A bar fight gone wrong. A man dead. Vera always maintained her innocence, self-defense, but the evidence, the witnesses, the small-town justice, it buried her alive for nearly 4 decades. She shuffled across the road, gravel crunching under worn state-issued sneakers. The chain-link fence around the property had been cut years ago. Kids probably used it as a hangout spot before it became too dangerous even for them. She slipped through the gap. Inside the store, shelves lay toppled. Old candy wrappers skittered like ghosts when she moved. The counter was still there, scarred, dusty, but familiar. She set her bag down gently, as if afraid to disturb the memories. She hadn't planned to come here. The parole officer had given her a shelter address in Atlanta. But something, maybe habit, maybe hope, drew her back to Milford. To the only home she'd ever really known. Vera lowered herself onto a cracked stool behind the counter. Her hands, gnarled now, traced the edge where she'd once carved her initials with a pocket knife when she was 22. VH plus JH. Her late husband, gone 15 years now. Heart attack while she rotted in prison. Tears came then, quiet, steady. She didn't sob. She'd learned long ago that loud grief only earned more punishment. That's when she heard it. A ring. Sharp. Insistent. Coming from the far corner. An old payphone. Still mounted on the wall. Black rotary dial. Cord tangled but intact. Everyone said the place had no power, no lines. Yet it rang. Again. Vera froze. Her heart hammered against ribs that felt too fragile. Who could possibly be calling an abandoned gas station? She rose slowly, legs unsteady. Step by step across the littered floor. The ringing continued, patient, almost gentle. She reached the phone. Lifted the receiver with trembling fingers. Hello. A voice, soft, male, elderly, answered. Vera? Is that really you? Vera's breath caught. The voice was familiar, yet distant, like an echo from a life she barely remembered. Earl, she whispered. Earl Dawson. The county attorney who'd prosecuted her case in 1988. The man who'd stood in court and called her a monster. The man who'd retired long ago, or so she'd heard through prison gossip. How did you know I was here? Her voice cracked. I didn't, Earl said quietly. But I've been waiting for this call for 38 years. Vera leaned against the wall for support. The payphone felt warm under her palm, impossibly warm in a building without electricity. You shouldn't be calling me, she said. You made sure I paid for something I didn't do. A long pause. I know. The admission hit like a slap. Vera's mind raced back. The courtroom, the sweaty July heat, the jury's averted eyes, her daughter, only 12 then, crying in the gallery. Little Sarah, who stopped visiting after year 5. Who wrote one letter in year 12 saying, I can't anymore, Mom. Who died in a car accident at 29, while Vera could only read about it in a newspaper clipping smuggled into the prison library. Earl continued, voice thick. I was wrong, Vera. The evidence. It was planted. I found out too late. After the trial. After you were sentenced. She laughed bitterly. Too late for me. I kept records, he said. Letters. Witness statements that were suppressed. A confession from the real killer, drunk, on his deathbed in '03. He admitted it. Said he panicked, hit the man harder than intended. You were just trying to break up the fight. Vera closed her eyes. The room spun. Why now? She asked. Because I owed you the truth. And because, there's something else. Something your husband left for you. Jack's been dead since 11. I know. But he never stopped fighting for you. He put everything in a trust. The gas station. The land. A life insurance policy he took out right after your conviction. He believed you'd come home one day. Vera sank to the floor, receiver still pressed to her ear. The land under the station, 10 acres along the highway, was worth something now. Developers had been sniffing around Milford for years. But it's abandoned, she said. Worthless. Not anymore, Earl replied. And not to you. He explained, Jack had paid the taxes every year from savings, then from his pension. The title stayed in Vera's name, protected. When developers offered to buy last year, the estate lawyer, Earl himself, quietly managing it, refused. Waiting. Hoping. I thought you'd never get out, Earl admitted. But the Innocence Project filed last month. New DNA. The governor's reviewing clemency. You might be exonerated. Vera's hand shook so badly the receiver rattled against her ear. But right now, Earl continued, you need to know you're not homeless. This place, it's yours. Always was. She looked around the ruined store. For the first time, she saw possibility instead of ruin. Then Earl's voice softened further. There's one more thing, Vera. Sarah, she had a daughter. Your granddaughter. She's 23 now. Her name is Lily. And she's been looking for you. Vera hung up the phone slowly. The dial tone buzzed like a distant swarm. Granddaughter. The word felt foreign, fragile. She'd lost Sarah so young. Never met her child's child. She stood, knees popping, and walked to the broken window. Outside, the sun climbed higher, painting the cracked pumps gold. A pickup truck rumbled past on the highway, slowing, then speeding away. Someone curious, perhaps. Or just passing. She spent the morning exploring. The back room, once storage, was flooded with light through a collapsed roof. Boxes of old receipts, yellowed newspapers. One headline from 1987, local woman charged in fatal bar fight. She found a photo tucked in a drawer, Jack, Sarah, age 10, Vera smiling behind the counter. She pressed it to her chest. By afternoon, hunger gnawed. She had $12 from gate money. Not enough for much. She sat on the curb outside, watching cars. An older man in a faded cap pulled in, Vernon Tate, the mechanic from down the road. He'd been a regular customer back then. He stared. Vera Harlan? She nodded, throat tight. Lord have mercy, he muttered. Thought you were gone. Released, she said simply. He hesitated, then handed her a paper sack. Wife made extra sandwiches. Take 'em. Tears stung. Thank you. Word spread slowly in Milford. By evening, 3 more people stopped, bringing water, a blanket, a thermos of coffee. No questions. Just quiet kindness. But doubt crept in as night fell. What if Earl was lying? What if the call was a cruel prank? Phones don't ring in dead buildings. She returned inside. Sat by the payphone. Waited. It rang again at 9:17 p.m. She snatched it up. Earl. No, a young woman's voice answered. Hesitant. This is Lily. Grandma. Vera's world tilted. I got your number from Mr. Dawson, Lily said. He said you were here. I drove all night from Savannah. You're coming here? Vera's voice broke. I'm already in Milford. At the diner. Can I see you? Vera looked at her reflection in the cracked window. Gray hair, lined face, prison posture. I'm not much to look at. I don't care, Lily said fiercely. Your family. Headlights swept the lot minutes later. A small blue sedan. A young woman stepped out, dark hair like Sarah's, eyes wide and scared and hopeful. Vera stepped outside. They stood 10 feet apart. Lily spoke first. Mom talked about you sometimes. Said you were strong. Said you didn't do it. Vera swallowed. I didn't. Lily closed the distance. Hugged her, tight, trembling. Vera held on like she'd drown if she let go. But then headlights again. Another vehicle. Slower. Official looking. A sheriff's cruiser. The cruiser idled, lights off but engine running. A deputy stepped out, young, respectful. Ma'am? Vera Harlan. Vera stiffened, arm around Lily. The deputy approached carefully. Got a call from the state. Governor's office. Emergency clemency hearing tomorrow morning. DNA cleared you. You're to report to the courthouse at 8. Vera swayed. Lily steadied her. It's over. Vera whispered. Almost, the deputy said. They're expediting. You'll be formally exonerated. Record wiped. He tipped his hat. Folks around here, some of us always wondered. Welcome home. He drove away. Vera sank to the ground. Lily knelt beside her. They sat in the dirt lot under stars, talking. Lily told her about Sarah, how she became a nurse, how she never stopped loving her mother, how cancer took her too soon. About growing up hearing stories of Grandma Vera who was taken away unfairly. Vera shared prison, small kindnesses, hard nights, the library books that kept her sane. Dawn broke. They drove to the courthouse together. Inside, reporters waited, small crowd, local news. Earl was there, frail, cane in hand. He met Vera's eyes. Nodded once. Apology in the gesture. The judge spoke solemnly. Exonerated. Innocent. Compensation forthcoming. State funds for wrongful conviction. Vera stood tall. For the first time in decades, free. But outside, Vernon waited, with keys. Figured you'd need wheels, he said. Old truck was Jack's. Kept it running. Vera took the keys. Tears flowed freely now. Back at the station, Lily helped clean. Neighbors arrived, brooms, paint, food. They worked quietly. Rebuilding. That evening, Vera stood behind the counter. New sign going up tomorrow. Harlan's Fuel and Market. The old payphone rang once more. She answered, smiling. It was Jack's voice, impossible, warm, from an old recording Earl had saved. Vera, darlin'. If you're hearing this, you made it home. I always knew you would. Love you forever. She hung up, sobbing happily. Months passed. The gas station transformed. Fresh paint. New pumps. A small cafe counter where Vera served coffee again. Locals came, not out of pity, but because the coffee was good and the owner listened like she always had. Lily moved nearby. Granddaughter and great-grandchildren, 2 toddlers, visited often. Laughter filled the place once more. Vera received a settlement, enough to live comfortably, to help others. She started a fund for wrongfully convicted women. Spoke at churches, libraries. Quietly. No fanfare. One evening, as sunset painted the sky orange, Vera sat on a new bench outside. Vernon joined her. You ever think it'd end like this? He asked. No, she said. But I'm grateful. She looked at the payphone, now framed behind glass inside, a relic. It never rang again. But sometimes, late at night, Vera swore she heard a soft click, like someone listening, smiling. she'd whisper, "I made it, Jack. We're okay." And in the quiet Georgia air, she felt peace. The lesson settled deep. Time can wound, but it can also heal. Innocence, once lost, can be reclaimed. And love, real love, waits, patient as an old phone on a forgotten wall. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting, realistic stories. Your support helps us create even more amazing content.